Hello, a very good morning to everyone. This is Azeeza Jalaludeen, co-founder of Shine ADA, and I'm here speaking to you from Singapore. Welcome everyone, and I have with me here our dearest brother, all the way from Mumbai, India, Brigadier Sushil Bhasin. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, Azeeza. Thank you. It's so nice to be here on this Google Hangout today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining in. And today the call is going to be about growing your training, coaching, or mentoring business in India and globally. So we're going to have a wonderful time sharing with you a few things around this industry. If you are listening to this call, we want to thank you and welcome you on this call because we know that this is the place for you to get more in-depth knowledge, probably some of the information you may have never heard before about the industry in Asia, in India, and globally. And who else to share best than people in the industry who have been veterans of the industry in India as well as around the world. So I'm very happy to have with us Brother Sushil. So he is an ex-army officer with more than 34 years experience in the Indian Army, and above that, he is also someone who has done immense, extensive work in the empowerment industry in India. So he has also traveled around the world where he has covered, other than being in India, all over pan-India. He has also traveled to Singapore, Australia, USA to do sharing on this topic on leadership and many other topics he specializes in. So brother, tell us more about your experience in this industry.
Okay, Azeeza, as you said, I served for 34 years in the Indian Army. And in the Army, I say that every officer is by default a trainer. Because in peace, you're training your troops for war. But some of us have the advantage of being into formal training assignments in training establishments. So I am one such lucky person who started my career in 1970 at the grassroots level of training a recruit, which means converting a villager into a soldier. So that was very elementary micro level training. And about 20 years later, I found myself in the Army Training Command as a brigadier, where I was involved in formulating training doctrine for the Indian Army. So that was a very macro bird's eye view picture of the training in the Army. And in this spectrum between the grassroots level and the macro level, I've done a number of training assignments, including some coordination assignments. That is, in civil equivalent, I would say content development. I've written manuals, and I've also been the commandant of a training establishment in Bangalore, where I had a team of 120 instructors, and we used to do about 3,000 students in a year. Now, this is the type of training experience I had in the Army, which varied also from the classroom training to sand model exercises to outdoor training to training in deserts, mountains. So I have done all types of training. And then when I came to the civil world in 2004, I've now done about 500 plus management development programs, mostly outdoors, but some of them a combination of outdoors and indoors. I have covered all types of industry, from IT to banks to automobile to FMGC to all, I mean, including shipping. And I've done it at all levels. I've done it at very senior levels where CEOs and all have been there, as also junior and middle level management. So I think in the last 46 years, training has been the only thing I've done.
Wow, that is so impressive in the way, you know, among the many people I have been in communication with, you're one of the very few that has such extensive knowledge of the industry and so much of passion that you bring to the table. And thank you so much for joining us on this call today, because we want to see the in-depth knowledge and know-how. And I know that you travel around all over India as well, to not just deliver trainings. You don't mind where it's conducted, you just make yourself available for learning as well. So I feel that the both parts of you, being a learner and a trainer, or rather we call in our Shine ADA, we stand for the work of professional speakers and trainers taking a whole new level in the industry. And we now are so passionate about them as mentors. So we see you as an awesome mentor for an associate mentor with Shine. We really want to thank you for your beingness and for being able to be with us in this journey. So we want to discuss a little bit about the
I'm privileged
industry.
and honored.
Yes, thank you. Today's call, we really want to discuss a little bit about the industry that is in India and how it's being seen and how people are playing at this moment. Maybe that would be something that we can start the call to understand about. So then I will share with you how it's being seen around the world from Singapore as a professional in the industry for the last 12 over years, and more than 25 years in the service industry. So I will share my perspective in a while, but I would love to hear from you about the industry in India.
Okay, so let me start from the time I left the army and came into the civil world. The first thing is that I started basically for children, and my dream was to make a school for children, because I was the chairman of an army school and I had seen how children respond, and I was somehow very, very attracted towards doing something for the children. So that became a mission of life, that can I help the new generation with my experience and make them live a better life. So when we went to schools and colleges, we found the response was poor, and therefore by default and not by design, we got more into corporate training. Now when I wanted to do corporate training, and if I went somewhere to any trainer, I found that there was a reluctance of sharing any experiences or material or knowledge. And therefore I started feeling very isolated. I didn't find myself in a industry or in a community where people help each other, support each other. That was totally missing. Anyway, gradually I got to know one or two people, and one of them is Girish Konkar, a commander from the Navy. Maybe because we were from the forces together and we were ex-NDAs, it worked better. But he started giving me some ideas, and he told me of some activities, and still some of the activities I do are from him. So that was very nice. And then gradually we started building up on our own or tweaking the activities that we had learned from him, etc. What I'm coming to is that there has been a lot of change from 2004 to 2015. Now we do have many trainers who share. We have got some training groups where people share, and the sharing has become better. But I think there's a long way to go. We still have a sense of insecurity. I feel if somebody has taken my training, or somebody has taken a video, or somebody has taken my material, or he's going to take my client away. And that's where I feel they should do money and you to learn of the abundance that happens in this universe. Nobody takes anyone's business away, and you are unique in your own way. So therefore, till we have that sense of confidence and sense of security that I can share all my material and still my business will remain with me. Azeeza, let me tell you a little bit about this drug seller's theory that I read somewhere. He said how people used to sell drugs. You sell a little bit of a drug to a person and free of cost. And then he comes to you again because he wants it. And you say, but now I'll charge you money. And you charge him a little bit of money. And he is reluctant to pay, but you say, no, now it will cost you money. But he's intoxicated. He's addicted. He has to come. So you can now keep charging him what you want to. When he stops coming back to you, or he stops paying you, that is the time for you to say that your product is not good enough. So you have to make your product better to attract him. That's what I tell trainers. If my client can go to somebody else, I have to look at myself and say my training effect was not good enough. So that's what the training industry in the country right now is. Firstly, I think it's fragmented. There is no industry at all. Everyone is on his own island of excellence. Everyone stands and says, I am great. But we are not prepared to exchange ideas. And it's only when you interact and you know how each other's experience can actually add to everyone's experience. So that's the need of the hour, some more unity, some more code of conduct, where a lot of people who are not really trainers call themselves trainers. They just know how to copy paste and God has given them the gift of the gap. So if you can talk and you can copy paste, you become a trainer. So that's where we want to make a difference. What do you say about it?
Fantastic. Thank you for that input, because you are on the ground, with a lot of trainers. So you have that clarity on the people that you need, because I know you have more than 200 trainers network with you, communication with of them. So, like, you are one of the very sorry for that technical error. So here we are back again. So we're going to continue the call. So this has been an interesting conversation. So we kind of got offline. So now we're back. Thank you so much for being on, for your patience. So as I was telling you, this conversation that we were having in terms of the industry. So we have been in the industry, especially in the last, since 2003, that we set out to do a lot of such work for the industry, for the speakers and trainers to get the next level of training. We have come across the similar resistance that Brother Sushil was mentioning, where people are unaware, they are not aware of the potential. Normally this happens, and especially when they are afraid of sharing or giving, it becomes a psychological restriction that people are setting on ourselves. So this has been a journey for us to understand the industry as well, and we were very grateful to be connected with the Accelerated Business School, which has been churning out the world's leading self-development gurus and people in the business industry as well. So we got to hear and learn from them direct about what it is in the industry that's working and not working, and at the same time also give us an opportunity to mentor and take care of others going in the industry. So if you look at it, we are looking at sometime in 2007, 8, where a lot of Singaporeans were coming up and they were saying that, oh, I want to be in this stage. So some of them, after hearing from us, I want to ask you, brother, do you know how big the industry is? We've spoken a lot about it. We want to bring up, do you remember how big the industry we're talking about? The international professional speaking and training industry?
I have no idea.
So can you know, the guessing many people make is probably it's $1 billion industry, right? Because there's a lot of vacuum in the industry right now. What we have identified, and Dr. Nambiar always mentions to all of us, is it's a $1 trillion industry since the 1990s. And we're looking at right now a $1 trillion industry that's played by a small group of people making the most money from it, and a bulk of them who are like really looking out, like rushing for the business. So an example that I can give you, and you can really see it very vividly when I tell you this, is that think of the big names that comes to your mind in India when we're talking about training business or self-development business. There are only a couple of names that you can recall, correct? People will think of them because they have written a book or they have done some kind of massive branding exercises. So we're looking at maybe not more than 10 will be remembered in the whole of India. Am I right to say that?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So we're looking at that kind of a vacuum in the industry, because we know that in India alone, we're talking about internationally less than 10,000 people, maybe about 10,000 to 25,000 people, foothold in the whole of the 7 billion people in the world. And we are looking at a huge vacuum. Can you imagine just 10 people for India that people can remember? How many more can be generated and how much more abundance is there to share? We're going to share a little bit about what makes them unique and what would get people to think of them when they are doing their business, because they have done something right, and we are also going to share some other stuffs around it. But most importantly is to understand that there is vacuum and why people can make a difference doing what they do, because we have it that people who are in the training industry, and like what Brother Sushil is mentioning, there's people with all this passion to inspire, this passion to share their knowledge, this passion and a very big heart to share what you have. And how do you take it forward to the next level, or how serious are we in moving forward to the next level? Because even when we came to Mumbai, such a developed space in India, it's a financial city, we saw that a lot of people are still doing training as a part-time business. Am I right?
That's right, yes.
And also a lot of them are freelancers, correct?
That's right, yes.
What do you think keeps them that way?
One is, I think, their confidence levels. Second is the opportunities. And thirdly is that while we are talking from the trainer's perspective, from the trainee's perspective, we don't have a learning community that is ripe or that is ready for transformation. So you will find that a lady may be prepared to spend 5,000 rupees to go to a beauty parlor and look good, but she will not be prepared to spend 500 rupees to be good. Okay, so people are not really willing to spend money on the change they want to see in themselves or any transformation, and that is the mismatch between what there are trainers who are willing to do that, but the trainees are not paying for it, or they are not coming for it. It's not only payment. Sometimes you do a free workshop, you will not even get an audience because they don't want to even invest that time. So these are the issues which are making trainers today get less business because they are not getting enough. So they do freelance, so they do a job or they do something, a business, and do this alongside, just be able to make their living.
So we are actually looking at a situation.
Sorry?
I'm going to. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think you have another screen open, is that right?
Is it?
Okay, it's done. No, the voice cannot be heard anymore. Okay, no issue. So you were speaking about this learning culture, which I also feel is something that is a miss in India, but it's catching up. I have to say that we have grown so much since the 2011 when we start coming to India, where people were like, when we talk about transforming and getting a better life and making a change, they will ask us, so what is the multi-level marketing product you're selling to us? So that was the take then. But right now, people are more open, they're more receptive. I have to say that that is a signal and a sign of a culture of the country as a whole, which is ready to take the next leap, because we have been seeing an increasing number of people interested in themselves and self-development, which is why I would say that way is because in China, 15 years ago, this was what was happening. People were at first not willing to learn, and then people started creating this culture of learning, and they are so immersed in learning right now. Some of the programs like the Money I Knew in China, when it's conducted in Chinese, only billionaires attend the program. Can you imagine people who have made lots of money invest lots more? So it's actually like, people say money makes money. At the same time, it's knowledge that makes knowledge. The more learned, the more equipped we are in our environment, in ourselves, internally, we can be able to attract and also impact people in a more effective way externally. So we actually get to see that kind of things happening for people, and people show up. But we say that the student appears when the teacher is ready. At the same time, the teacher is also needs to be ready for the student. So in Shine, and just like yourself, brother, you are an awesome example of the industry, because you have been preparing yourself big time. The fact that we are in a conversation right now and you being exposed to everyone, I'm not sure how many of your training buddies are being interviewed and putting on a YouTube platform like that. I don't know how many of your trainers platform have been doing that, but you have said yes to international platforms. You've said yes. So you have been preparing as a teacher, as a mentor, so that when students come, you are now seen as a mentor of all these trainers, and that's something that we have set out to do in India as well, right? Tell us more about your journey as a learner.
Okay, so when I stepped out of the army, I did not want to live on my laurels of what I did in the army and that extensive, vast, varied, rich experience that I had. I went on to get some experience and prepare myself for the corporate world and for the civil world. So I started doing programs, and the first program I remember I did was ISABS, which is a human laboratory. And then I did the Landmark Forum, and then I started attending seminars. And one of the first seminars I attended in Bombay was in 2005 when Jack Canfield came to India, and I attended his seminar. That was my eye-opening seminar, and I picked up a lot from him. And thanks to Jack Canfield, he sent me a manual on self-esteem when he went back to USA. And he is a Facebook contact of mine, and he has been very good to me. And then he referred me to Bob Younglove, who was then the president of the International Council for Self-Esteem. So I became a Indian member of the International Council for Self-Esteem, and I started looking at a lot of things internationally. In 2010, I went and attended the first of mine, the International Conference of the Association of Experiential Education. I joined this AEE in 2005 online, and every year there used to be an announcement of an international conference, but I neither had the money nor could I spend time out of my business to go and attend that. But in 2010, I went to Las Vegas and attended, that was the first visit to USA, and I attended this international conference with about 600 to 700 educators, experiential educators from all over the world. And that's when I met Christian Aitin, who I just met recently. He was in India just a few days back. He was responsible for next year recommending me to be the chairman of the International Affiliation Group, which I did. So my journey outside India and with many, many more trainers has been very much there. And then, Azeeza, you know it better than anyone else, that this year in 2015 May, I was in Singapore, and I got to know that Tony Robbins is coming there. I had known very little about Tony Robbins then. I just heard the name. I didn't really know his caliber. But I decided to attend his workshop, and I was so amazed, and I was so impressed by what he did, that I was tempted immediately to sign up for his UPW, the Unleash the Power Within, in Sydney. Now, that did mean a lot of expense and a lot of time. But I was trying to calculate, I must have spent more than 15 lakhs of rupees in the last 10 years only on my personal learning. And I strongly feel that any trainer has to be a learner. And if you stop learning, it's a, like Tony Robbins says, whatever does not move does not grow. And what does not grow is dead. So if I'm not progressing, if I'm not growing, if I'm not transforming, if I'm not changing, then I'm dead. And I don't want to be dead before I'm dead.
Can you clarify how much did you say? 15 or 50? 15.
No, 15.
15 lakhs. That's in $4, about $30,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how we met and what you're doing with us.
Sorry, come again.
And what we are doing together. How has that been working for you?
Well, Azeeza, it was so nice to meet you online somewhere, I think in 2009 or 10. I don't remember exactly. And then there was something which brought us together. I saw that you were doing great work, and I wanted to collaborate with you. And then it did happen for a while, but somehow it didn't work out. And you came to Bangalore to do a program. I couldn't come there. And there were various reasons which you know. But ever since we met this year in Singapore in May, I think there's no looking back. Now we've realized that you are really, firstly, you and Dr. Nambiar, I'm so happy to see the way you are passionate about your training, and you genuinely from your heart want to bring knowledge, you want to bring, a lot of those principles of abundance, those generalized principles, want to do good for humanity. And that is what makes me connect to you. And I feel I'm willing absolutely to do anything with you because we have a common goal. And the common goal remains that we want to see how more and more people can benefit and how we can add some value to people around us.
Absolutely, brother. So what's your take about the programs that we've brought in, especially the Money and You program that we've brought into India? And I know that is currently the platform that we are on together to explore further for people here, as well as the other training programs. I think we're going to speak about that later. How has that impacted your life, especially for the Money and You that currently you've attended?
So it was you who got me into Chennai in June this year to do the Money and You program. Frankly speaking, the word Money and You looked like it was going to be some program which is only going to be talking about money, and I was not focusing on money in life so much. So I was very apprehensive till I went and attended it. And after those 3.5 days, I just said, wow, I didn't know it was going to be so engrossing, it would be so engaging. And I could see miracles happening in that workshop. Miracles, absolutely. So I was very happy and satisfied that I did that program. And then I started talking about it to anyone and everyone I met. And I was so fascinated that I went to Sydney for Tony Robbins' workshop. And I got to know that Money and You is happening there. And being a life member of this program, and I knew I could go and review it. So I decided to cancel my ticket to Melbourne, which I was going that day, and chose to, instead of going to Melbourne, decided to review the Money and You workshop in Sydney. And then I traveled to Bangalore to be on the logistics team for the third Money and You. So really speaking, I've done 3 Money and Yous right now in just about 6 months' time. And I feel that's a great program. It's a program which makes you, which focuses both on money and you, which I didn't realize. that a lot of focus is on you as a person, and you really do scuba diving into yourself, and you get to be acquainted with yourself, which very seldom we do. And personally, for me, other than a few reinforcements and a few things that I realized, I haven't seen major breakthroughs. Maybe because last 10 years we are so much into that same domain, uh, and constantly asking yourself those questions which they were asked. But when I see around and I saw lives changing, you saw people crying, you saw people changing dramatically, was the power of the program. And every time I do, which is third time, the same exercise, when it was happening for the third time that I'm going through, I found there was still something new coming up, because perspectives were changing, environment was changing, the group you were interacting was changing, and therefore you realize that it's a very deep rooted, very, you're tackling something very complex, and that is yourself. You're a very complex machine, a very complex device God has created, with lots and lots of ifs and buts and hows and whats that keep bothering us. And Money and You really gives you a good insight on how to tackle all that. And I'll say teaches you how to manage yourself.
The purpose of me asking you this question was very much in as mentors and trainers in the industry, how open are we to such work? That's the first thing that I feel that we need to really embed in ourselves. Like on my side, I was a housewife before I started doing what I'm doing right now. And in the last, since 2002 till now, I would have spent easily $40,000 on my own personal developments as well. And we know that in this journey, it's a lot about us getting stronger and more effective as a human being. And a lot of things that's a miss. And for those who are watching this, you may also want to Google Learn from Mentor of Mentors, where our founder and mentor, Dame DC Cordova, speaks about the industry as well. And we have many videos on the industry, and we talk about what we call the beingness. So the names you mentioned, brother, you talked about Jack Canfield. You started the journey in India, you said about Jack Canfield, and then you mentioned names like Tony Robbins. And there are many other names that has traveled from other parts of the world to India. And we are very, very happy to say that we are working with the mentor of these, mentor of the people who have attended this program. Like all the names who have you mentioned are students of the Accelerated Business School. That is the owner of Money and You. So all these people that people are admiring and always have been in the room of Money and You before they started doing what they're doing. And this is something, and they've also done many other training programs. T.R. Aker, Jack Canfield, we're talking about all the names. You can go to moneyandyou.com and check the graduates list. You'll be surprised to see all the names out there. What we are getting at right now is not just about a program, but what you can do to yourself to equip yourself in order to get that beingness. So when we say beingness, it's about not just the clarity, not about Toastmasters. Some Toastmasters is out there. It's a fantastic program. It's an international program that teaches you on public speaking. But being a professional, high-end, to be in the cream of the crop, we are talking about beingness. To bring the beingness to the table is the one that attracts people to us and the work that we do. And it's also reaching out to as many people as possible. These are like, when we learn in business, especially in our speaking program that we have, it's a 3-day module that we will very soon be bringing to Mumbai as well. We have already done it in Chennai. We have done a lot in Singapore and Malaysia. So what we'll be having the next one in Chennai, but before that, we'll be having an event in Mumbai as well. We'll give you more details shortly. But in that program, we do a 3-day, 2 days on understanding the beingness around you, and the 3rd day on business, on how you structure yourself in business, because that's what I felt was also a miss. There's a lot of train the trainer programs out there. People are churning out certificates after certificate, giving train the trainer knowledge and know-hows, and people are out there buying it. Like what you say, brother, people love to have train the trainer certificates. They're like, oh, I'm certified with this one and that one. But they don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to bring about the business values that they have onto the table. And that is something that we feel we can equip these mentors, these people with big hearts, to have some clarity around the way they're running their business as well, and create a network that's committed to that, not just be freelance trainers hanging around. We know there's a lot of associations out there, many forums, many groups where they just refer business to each other. But when you go through programs that equip you as a whole being and stay together, like what we are doing with Brother Sushil and many others in the Money and You platform, is to really enforce the beingness. But that's why we're talking about, a whole bunch of us talking about how we can go deeper to ourselves to get the core. You will also understand that the trainers, like what he mentioned earlier on, are missing that part of what is it that I'm so good at that I can stand out. If you look at all the names right now in India, they have a certain area of specialization that they come with, a certain level of branding, not just in terms of going out there and marketing them, but they have branded themselves in such a way that when it's about speaking, people remember them. About health, people remember them. About self-development in a certain perspective, people remember them. But what we are looking at is, what is your take as a professional in the industry? What are you remembered for? And who do you work with that you can be remembered with? So that is something that, do you agree with me, brother, that that is something that's a miss in the industry?
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. What you're saying is absolutely right. And if we can bring in the focus there of your being not only capable, but also being able to use your caliber in the right channelized way, and you know where to go and what to project, probably you will be able to fine tune the whole thing than to be wandering all over.
Also, we're looking at using technologies that's beyond the PowerPoints. You know, a lot of people use PowerPoints. Not that you can't use, we can use it for figures and everything, but many people forget the technology that's available to humanity right now. We're talking about the accelerated learning technology, where it's more about the whole brain, whole being learning, and that makes people pop. If we can bring people into a room and in 10 to 15 minutes make people pop, that is something that we want a lot of professionals in the industry to embark on. So these are things that people get to be aware of when they are in our circle and in our trainings. Like Money and You is a self-development program, but as a trainer, when they go in, they'll get to see like, wow, how I can imagine a room that I'm in front teaching whatever that I'm teaching with this kind of technology. You can relate to that, right?
Yes,
You want to
absolutely.
share a little bit about the difference that is happening right now? I mean, what do you see different in the technology that they use? As a trainer, when someone walks in, like yourself, what were you impressed with?
I was impressed by the music, by the videos that were coming right on time. I was impressed by the complete logistics that was working so meticulously. And after having been on the logistics team, I also know what goes backstage and how much effort goes into bringing it in such precision. Uh, when I did it in Chennai, I was amazed, and I used to wonder, because as a trainer, you also do the same thing, and you see how the mic reaches a person in less than 15 seconds, and how the handouts are distributed in 15 seconds. So you found that there were some very good things. And now having been on the logistics team, how much of training goes for the logistics team to do that? So these were some very, very important and very critical areas that the trainers need to look at. And I'm totally with you that today, you see, when I started with outbound training, for example, outbound principles were made many, many, many years ago. And that time there was no WhatsApp, and there was no Facebook, and there was no PowerPoint, and there's nothing. So, should I stick to the original outbound principles, or should I modify them to my today's client? So that is how I started doing something called integrated holistic training, where I said, let me use a psychometric tool and combine it with outbound training. Let me use Facebook. We now create a WhatsApp group. So before I go in for training, I make a WhatsApp group and prepare my participants for the coming program. So some of the things have already happened on the WhatsApp group even before they come. And while I've got WhatsApp group, I also use very effectively the audio part of it, which not many people use. So sometimes instead of just typing out a message, you want to energize people and you want to talk in that tone. So you can use an audio to say, hey guys, tomorrow we are going for the program. How are you feeling right now? And things like that. So you also can use videos. So WhatsApp has become a very, very easy tool, and also because everyone has it. So you're not worrying about people who will not have on the other end the same gadget or the same software. So therefore, I feel that today you have to bring up technology and integrate it into your training, because you will have to talk the language that people understand. And today's people are on WhatsApp and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. So if you are absent there, you will probably be missing out. So that's what, and I thought Money and You was fantastically doing. Hats off to this guy called Reggie. I stayed with him in a room for 3 nights and I know what this guy does. Oh, fantastic, you know. I mean, not a split second of a delay. If a video has to come out, it comes on time. If a particular music, yeah.
Can you imagine all of that being used for training programs, not just for Money and You, because it's not a technology that the organization wants to keep for itself. We want others to be trained and using it in their own business, like in their own training field. So like right now, you know the secret. How much did you pay for the logistics to come back for the training?
Sorry?
How much did you pay for the logistics to come back for the training?
I paid for my fare, I paid for my stay, what else?
That's all, nothing, right? So it's actually training for you for free. And that's for everyone. It's actually part of the learning that we give to our graduates, because we want people to come back and keep on review, keep on learning all these things. And by doing that, when you go back and do your own trainings and your own programs, you can apply them. And we envision in Shine, why we were so passionate about bringing the work to India, is because people have been really getting excited about people on the stage and saying, wow, that person is doing so well and all of that. And I love to be there. But here we are, committed to everyone in India who is passionate about the training business, who are passionate about the industry, to be there, to do that. And we are walking that journey. And I envision not just Money and You room to be like that. I envision any rooms that we as Indians or Asians doing the programs to have that kind of specialization in whatever industry or whatever programs that you are delivering. For example, it can be on any other topic. It can be on sales. It can be on so many different things, because we personally have friends in Malaysia and Singapore who deliver programs in that mechanics and that way of logistics and everything. We envision that for Indians and in India, because with that kind of a team that is committed to, can you imagine all of us as trainers and coaches, we're definitely going to do that because we have done it so many times in different parts of Asia, that we're going to do programs in India where the whole works. It's not Money and You room, but everything works around like Money and You, because the whole works is so fun and people come out of it in a more powerful way. I'm sure you are already embedding some of those technologies in your program also, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. So let's, it's already about 45 minutes now. Anything else you want to add on before we end this call? Any tips or anything that you want to share for the trainers and mentors platform?
I only want to tell all the trainers, let's care and share. It's very, very important that we exchange ideas. And in India now, we in Bombay particularly, we have a few training groups online and offline. And I'm a member of almost all of them. And it is this thing is growing, and I hope it will grow more. And more trainers understand that it is going to be beneficial for all of us if we mutually support each other. Instead of getting into a competition, let's get into collaboration.
Fantastic. I think you said it really well. So what we are doing right now as we speak, and I really want to thank Brother Sushil for your time to be on this call, because we see you as our, you're not just an associate mentor for us in Shine 88, but you're also one of the leaders that we have identified in India to support the work of mentoring other professionals and trainers in the industry. And see a lot more people coming on board with us in this platform. And being leaders of the work, we see that it's very important that we come from a space of non-judgmental, being open to receive, as well as removing resentment towards masters. This we have it in our excellence towards mastery, and also in the roadmap towards reaching a powerful state of beingness. So when we do this, we have actually a complete network of entrepreneurs who are or trainers, mentors, who can play together at a whole new level. You get to clearly identify your dimension, the way that you are thinking about competition actually evolves, because you no longer, when you can identify your own niche, you no longer need to be worried about competition, and you will want to collaborate. And Dr. Navir always mentions about the 4 things that we need to do in business, and that applies absolutely for training industry more than anywhere else, is to, this is the 21st century, doing business, outsourcing, and resourcing. And what more that we can do through this, this is like probably the best platform to demonstrate that. And that's exactly what Shine is out to do with professionals in the industry. And we want to take Asians to a whole new level, and Indians, as an Indian from Singapore, I'm born and brought up in Singapore, but with parents coming from India. And we want to really, really embark on this journey of empowering Indians in this field, because we can see that a lot of layers of clarity is getting onto many, many people. And we are so glad that we have nurtured right now, about 70 of them have already attended our programs. More than 70, almost 100 people have attended the program in the last 6 months and are part of this community. Most of our programs are one-off membership with a lifetime mentoring program that is open to you to network, not just with the Shine group, but also with our mentors. So we get direct access. So our mentors are, or rather the professionals that you meet with, are not just some far away saying hi to you and empowering you, but they come close to you and talk to you and mentor you at a deeper level. So that's the kind of work that we have put together. So that's the game we are playing together in India, and we would love to see how best we can support the industry as a whole. In Mumbai, we'll be coming on the 31st of January, right, brother? 31st
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
In Mumbai. Do you want to say something?
31st January, yes.
31st January, we'll be in Mumbai, and we'll be having a one-day business makeover. We'd love to see more professionals. We want to be where you want to be. So Brother Sushil has said, yes, we want to do something in Mumbai as something that people can open their heart and mind at a whole new level. We'll do it there. And then we will also be doing programs in Chennai, which is the speaking program. And then we will be doing the Money and You program in February 18th to the 21st. So we'll keep it updated on the programs. Go to our website, shine88.com, and click on and get registered. We will also be giving you more information. Even if you want to do it, if you're listening to this video and you say that, hey, I want to do something in my own language, in my own, my own town, we are open to that, because when we're talking about training, it's not just about the English language, but rather in the native language as well. We have Sona Pandey, who is now stationed in North India, Kashipur, right? She is our dearest friend, a Money and You graduate. Brother Sushil, you've met her?
Yeah.
Yes. So she's been doing an awesome work in Nainital, Kashipur, where she set up her professional skills development hub. It's a Hindi and English combined platform, because she's teaching English, but she has to communicate a lot in Hindi. So she's taken on this work. She's a Singaporean PR now, set up her business in India. This last 1 year, she's doing some amazing work, doing local programs that is internationally branded. So we would love to empower more people in this way. So connect with Brigadier Sushil. Do connect with us. You can go to his website, go to click on and follow his work, because he does some amazing work. Go to Bhasin.com and you can be in touch with him, connect with him to find out how best you can contribute. Even if it's not in English, any other individual languages, he's always there to assist you. And also connect with us so that we can take it forward to the next level for you in your business as well. So anything before we round off the call?
Thank you. That's fine. It is very nice to be here. And this is the first time I was on a Google Hangout, and I'm finding it good. So we'll have more of these to be able to share knowledge and experience with others.
Absolutely. Thank you so much once again. Dear friends, thank you. Thank you for showing up and thank you for being on the call. As we always say, it's never by accident, it's by design that you are watching this. And if you are ready for leadership at a whole new level. Connect with us and we'll be with you at your service soon in India. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.